right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Covering up the middle finger. We are being professional.
All right, then.
Sorry.
Fine, be that way.
We're attracting sponsorship, Jared. I did not know it. Who knew that opening up a podcast in your bedroom or your shop and being kind of a couple Generation X lame ducks would lead to possible sponsorship? I didn't know. So, of course, we were flipping off the cameras in the first few episodes. But welcome to Common X with Jared and Ian, episode 5, Gen X, the Latchkey Kids. I'm excited about this one. How are you doing today, Jared?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing awesome. Like I said, it's episode 5, and we're receiving criticism and questions. It's freaking awesome. Episode 5. And we are now not just available on YouTube and Spotify. We are available on all platforms, my friend. So that's pretty exciting.
Check us out everywhere.
Yeah. So whether you like us or not, you're getting us.
Yeah, we're everywhere. Look behind you.
So, Generation X, the Latchkey Kids. We're going to talk about obviously the date range, 1964 to 1980, the rebelliousness of our generation, the anti-establishment sentiments of the early 80s to the disillusionment with mainstream ground to cover. Would you agree with that, Jared?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of ground to cover. And I'm not really sure how, our experiences shaped worldviews. We are the forgotten generation. I was recently trolled, Jared. Did I tell you about this?
No.
Yeah. At LazyBones69 accused me and you of being ringleaders of the most homophobic generation ever. How do you respond to that?
Really?
Yeah.
Did you do any research before you made that pulling out of your ass comment?
So I, Jared, will not confirm or deny and speak for an entire generation and say that we are homophobic or not. But what I will say is we are very opinionated. We are very in your face. And I think that he or she, because the handle at LazyBone69 doesn't really clarify much. But I will say that we have preferences, and I think maybe she didn't fit the bill, or he or she, okay.
Yeah, I'll splash up an infographic that people can watch or look at. But just a quick web search, on is Gen X the most homophobic generation?
Yeah, type it in. What is it?
Stats, right? So, if you look at this one from Pew Research, it says views about homosexuality among adults in Generation X by religion. So, of course, Christianity is going to be bigger, right? Because that's a no-no in Christianity. At least according to the good book, I guess. So 55% of Christians actually say it should be accepted. So that's actually larger than I thought it would be. And this is, again, among Gen Xers. And right now, non-Christians, it's 79%. So right. I don't think we're the most homophobic.
Right, and I'm not here to bash the gays and the trans or anything. Yeah. But I'm a human being, and I'm allowed to choose what I want to choose, and I can partake or not partake, and I think that's everybody's God-given right. And so, yeah, do you look at our material, our promos, or whatever? They're not a gay advertisement, and I'm proud of that. I'm okay with that. I think that's okay. Like, I don't have to, be so DE and I that like, hey, we can't even run our own podcast and we got to attribute it all to the gays and trans. I'm not speaking bad about those individuals, but that's not what this podcast is about. It is about Generation X, and that's it. So,
well, I have some thoughts.
Sure. Yeah, that's what we're here to do, buddy. Let it out.
I think right now everybody's pandering to a minority. Are they
a minority now, though?
Yes, they are still a minority. So I think the media portrays it that it's bigger than it is. right?
Sure.
And everybody doesn't want to say anything because they might get canceled. But
yeah, my daughter canceled me the other day. She did. I walked in. She was like, "Dad, you canceled." I'm like, "Fuck."
Sure, whatever.
Yeah, I think you're grounded.
You're grounded,
Mrs. Canceled. Right.
I love that we both went to grounded. That's
right.
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. We're a generation born out of frustration, right? The desire to, for authenticity. You're a servant leadership guy. I'm an authentic leadership guy. We're born with those values based on the world that we were born into. The highest divorce rate ever. Hello. Me and my wife have been happily married for 14 years now, and both of us came from, had stepdads. We are the generation of the stepdad, the latchkey kids. Due to the high divorce rate, our parents had to both work. The mom, while courting the said to be stepfather, had to work and provide a living until things got worked out. So we became the latchkey kids, meaning that I walked to the school bus, I got off of school, I walked home, and I unlocked the door with either the key around my neck or underneath the doormat or hidden under the very highly oversold rock that everybody recognized that went next to the door.
The giant plastic fake rock.
Right. That you clipped the bottom at and robbers totally didn't know that was not what that is they broke into your house. Or didn't even have to break into your house because everybody had one of those stupid rocks that everybody knew there was a key in. So yeah, does it piss you off, Jared, when they call us the forgotten generation? It fucking pisses me off.
Well, yeah, a little bit. But we've kind of given them that ammo too, right? Because we've kind of sat on the fence.
That's true. That's true.
It's kind of deserved, honestly, because, well, I don't know. I think one of the big things is work-life balance with Gen Xers. We have a very strong work ethic, right?
Oh yeah,
and probably to a detriment because I'll be the first to admit I've actually done work remotely from my hospital bed.
Right.
If that doesn't say I'm screwed up in the head on a work-life balance, I don't know what else does.
Yeah, I've kind of been in a similar situation myself.
Right. With that, we just kind of kept our head down and just did our work. Right.
Yeah.
Don't bring anything up. Don't rock the boat. Right. So.
Yeah, just do your shit.
I think.
Shut up and do your shit.
That's led us to the world that we live in now. That's an absolute crapple. So, that's why I think it's time for Gen X to wake the fuck up and start taking over because it's pretty crappy.
Right.
So we need to fix it. And I think we were uniquely in a pretty unique position to be able to do that because, we were raised with kind of a lot of cynicism and skepticism. Right? There were economic downturns, political scandals like Watergate, shifting social values, things like that. So I think we have kind of a cynical view of authority and institutions, and we distrust a lot of that. And I'm a big believer in that. I think our government's completely corrupt and it just needs to be replaced.
Yeah.
So I saw a video on YouTube this morning about a project that's talking about replacing all our current politicians through, campaign finance reform, basically. So I shared that off of my TikTok this morning. So,
well, guys,
I'll probably post a link to it in here.
Yeah, do it. Post a link, man. At GenX Jared on TikTok. He does a daily TikTok, and for our supporters of hemp, which I think everybody should, if you were with us in MJ and hemp for that episode, Jared puts a lot of good stuff in there as well for that. So visit at GenX Jared on TikTok. He's got a lot of good stuff on there. I think that we kind of had to carve our own paths, man. You know, I mean, I really feel like that due to, I mean, I didn't do well with authority growing up, and I think there's a reason for that. From as I showed in our
Right.
promo, like the whole "read my lips, no new taxes" bullshit. I mean, we were clearly being, just spoon fed another campaign slogan. I won't go down that rabbit hole again, like I've done on previous episodes. But you get me
Right.
started on politics growing up and Elon Musk, and I will chew up your whole day. Everybody knows that. And Elon Musk is a bitch. Throw out some rocker fingers. I'm just going to say it. That's my trademark. But despite societal pressures, yeah, I mean, for that era, I think that we had to carve our own paths. I think that makes us unique, for sure.
Right. And I think if you just look at the music from our generation too, a lot of the music is about being anti-establishment, right, and going against, Rage Against the Machine, pretty
Right.
good band name, right?
Yeah.
So, and like was it Billy Idol with the Rebel Yell, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So I think there's a lot of, like I said, distrust for government, distrust for big businesses and how they're corrupting everything. So again, I think we just need to, as Gen X, step up,
Right.
take over, and change it.
That's right. I mean, I think that our generation should definitely be accredited with rejecting materialism and conformity from earlier generations. And I think you're right.
I'd agree with that.
I think the music absolutely screams that. I mean, heck, even like you said, just even the name of the band. It's like you're going tonight to pay money to see these guys whose name tells you right off the bat, we're raging against the fucking machine.
Right. Exactly.
Absolutely. Okay, so Jared, I got something fun for you. Again, guys, Jared and I have a podcast email, commonxpodcast@gmail.com. And we love fielding questions. Like I said, Jared is on TikTok at Jared, GenX Jared. Oh shit, did I just fuck that up? At Jared,
at GenX Jared.
At GenX Jared on TikTok. And we love talking to our audience. So with that said, I mean, send us questions, send us comments. Hell, troll me. I don't care. I'll talk more about my troller here in a minute. But yeah, send us emails at commonxpodcast@gmail.com, and we will answer those. And we have a Sabrina sighting. Jared, can you add that sound from like Wayne's World remember that sound Wayne's World, like Stacey alert? Remember that?
Oh, right.
Right? Yeah. We love Sabrina. And guys, speaking of Sabrina being in the background, buy some Leatherworks from Twisted Pines. We got a little commercial. Maybe we can throw that in there too. Excellent products. Yep. It's a wallet. Love that shit, dude. Okay, so Jared, I received some emails this morning and we got some questions. Are you ready to answer to our audience? They're going to hold us to the fire. Yep. They're going to hold us accountable. Some of them are not so friendly.
Cool.
All right.
I have an opinion on everything.
Yeah, fuck it, right? Okay. And like I said, guys, we love feedback. Good, bad, ugly. Who gives a shit? Send it in. I got, good morning, Jared and Ian. I have a question concerning Gen X. Did Generation X do it all for the nookie? At LazyBone69. Did we do it all for the nookie, Jared?
Yep.
Great reference to Limp Bizkit and their song Nookie, by the way. Props at LazyBone69. I got to give it to you. I think, yeah, man. I mean, I watched MTV when my parents were away in the summertime, and it was all about the nookie, man, for sure. Did you do it all for the nookie, Jared? Well, I'm gonna take that as well. I'm gonna lie and say that it's a yes, but it could be a no. It could be a no. All right, moving to the next one. Jared, are you still with us? Is your audio? I think I lost your audio.
I muted it. Oops, sorry. Yeah, I've been talking.
Sorry.
No problem.
Well, I lied and said you did do it all for the nookie, just so you're aware.
Okay. Yes, I did.
Okay. So Jared and Ian did do it all for the nookie. Thank you at LazyBones69. I hope we have thoroughly answered your question. This next question is for you, buddy. Good morning, Jared.
Fire away.
How did you guys come up with the name Common X? This is from at TidyWhiteyX. This is a
nice
Generation X audience member. I believe that.
Yeah, I mean,
I believe that Jared came up with Common X actually while we were in the early stages.
Yeah, I think you and I were just yapping, right? And we talked about, our viewpoint is Generation X, and I think we both commented on how much common sense is gone, right? There's not a lot of common sense anymore. So, Common X, right? Common sense from Generation X. So kind of bringing it back, hopefully. Having people watch our podcasts, maybe look at things from that middle ground point of view, where we have a common sense approach and something that's more reasonable instead of extreme left or extreme right. And because again, if you want to take over people, divide and conquer. So
right. So a play on words. Yes.
Not divided.
So at TidyWhiteyX, we appreciate your love and support, and I hope we've answered your question. It is a play on words. Absolutely. Generation X, Common X. Let's bring common sense back into the equation. So the next one, Jared, from at Infinity KY, could be Kentucky or KY96, I'm not entirely sure, is not friendly. And we did cover this. It says, hey guys, you are garbage if you didn't know. And did you know how come why you are the ringleaders of the most homophobic generation in existence? Well, I think that we both answered that thoroughly. I'm going to rage against the machine here and say that I just don't have a fucking opinion at all about that, because that's not what this podcast is about. And Jared, you answered that very well, that you are not a homophobe, just straight out. No. So stick that in your pipe and smoke it there at Infinity KY96. But we love that we've grasped your attention and would love you to keep listening. And thank you. So I have one more. We're not very big yet.
All right.
We only received 4. Hey, comma, middle finger, comma. You guys look like boomers! Exclamation point. My cat hates you. But why do you wear sunglasses? Question mark. Love you and go F yourself. From at Cincinnati's X Boomer 12.
Because the future's so bright, we got to wear shades.
That's right. That's right. Also, too, I would like to add that I wear sunglasses out of anonymity, because this show, we are emotionless. We cannot get to common sense if we just feed off of emotion, facial expression. We cannot be engaged in the conversation and give it the full attention that it deserves, in my opinion. And that's why I wear sunglasses on this show. How about you, Jared?
I'm just cool.
You are cool. You are cool, buddy. Very.
I'm sporting the ZZ Top thing, man. I'm growing this out so it touches my belt.
You're bringing that back, buddy. I gotta say, man, I just I see you on the other end there, and it's like I hear LaGrange, rumors going around. Are those dudes still around? I think we might have lost one.
I think we've lost 1 or 2, but I think the band itself is still around, right?
So we lost did we lose the 2 dudes? Because I think they were brothers in Texas or something. Whatever.
I'm sure a Google search could tell me real quick.
Well, let's go ahead and do that. Fuck it, man.
ZZ Top still around or alive?
Are they still around or alive? I know that Motley Crue is, and I had a friend that recently went to Tacoma to see the Rolling Stones. That's pretty cool. I mean, Mick Jagger's got to be '83 or something. Well, that's pretty
Yeah, it
awesome.
says they're still around.
Yeah.
It says they're still together and still making music.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, actually, I think that's the original three guys, too. Billy Gibbons, Frank Beard, and Elwood Francis.
Well, we'll have to reach out and see if we can get them on the show and, ask them their opinions concerning my troll. I love you. At
They were
LazyBones69.
in Back to the Future, too.
No shit.
Yeah, the second one where they went back into the West. Or is that the third one? Third one.
Oh, was there more than two?
They're
I'm
actually...
a bad Gen Xer. I don't even know how many Back to the Futures there were. I've failed my
there were
audience.
three.
I've failed my audience. Oh, sure.
So they were in Back to the Future 3, and they were the band in the Wild West dance scene.
Incredible.
So when they were like square dancing. Yeah.
Incredible. So, Jared, well, we've reached our first. We're going to go ahead and take a break, guys.
The first 20s?
Yeah, we do our shows in 20s for uploading capacity. We've just revealed our entire podcast production,
no.
but fuck it, right? Okay, so thank you for being with us here on Common X with Jared and Ian, available on all platforms, not just Spotify and YouTube. That's how diverse we are. And we'll be right back.
Did I tell you I'm looking for quotes?
Yeah.
Are we recording again?
Yeah, we're back on there, man. But it's okay. I mean, shit.
I see how you are.
Well, my bad. I thought I said I was getting back in there, but you know what? Fuck, man. We don't. I don't think there's anything about my life that I haven't shared on this podcast anyway.
Oh. Yeah, I was just looking at quotes for AC. These guys quoted me like $24,000
for an AC unit in your house.
Yeah, and I'm like, my neighbor put his in for $7,000. Guess my what?
Even $7,000. I mean, holy crap! That's where we're at now.
Yep.
This conversation is as real as Gen X gets right here, because the boomers never paid $7,000 or $24,000 for an AC unit in their house. It's absolutely ridiculous. Can't you buy one for like $2,000 or less at Home Depot?
Yep.
So all of this shit is labor, pretty much. Over half.
All that is we don't want to do business with you.
Right. We're too busy, and here's a extremely high bid, because we're not going out there unless you pay us enough to not. Right. Okay. Very cool.
All right, back at it.
Back at it. So they're bringing out our rebellious nature side and displaying why our generation is raging against the machine. We're raging against that machine right there, Mr. AC unit installer guy. So I personally believe that, every generation has its strengths and its weaknesses, but I think our critics of our generation kind of struggle with, we're like accused of being kind of like the alienated, disconnected, and this is certainly due to societal changes, economic downturns, and of course the rise of technology as we enter the 2000s. But I think a lot of people point to a perceived lack of social activism, I guess, compared to previous generations. Like, we sat on our nuts, right?
Right.
Is that how you see it?
I think it's more like we're the classic middle child, right? We're in between boomers, which ran everything until they're going to die because they're just control freaks.
Yeah, right? They're still in charge now.
Right. And then millennials who are behind us that have that big social footprint. So we're kind of in between. So we're getting kind of a little bit squeezed, right? Or maybe underappreciated or overlooked, especially in like leadership positions, right? For like running big companies or anything like that.
Yeah.
So that's a big one. But I think that's something that we can fix. Like, you and I are a good example, right? We're doing podcasts.
Right. We're
It's
getting on
technology.
the I mean, we weren't born with a fucking computer in our pocket, but here we are. We're
Right.
trying
And
to use our
technically
Gen
we
X
are.
voice. Yeah.
Right.
We're
And
using
we
our
ran
Gen
the
X voice.
technology.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, I remember a Gateway computer sitting in the spare bedroom at our house when I was growing up that it just sat there collecting dust. Nobody knew how to use it though. Like I didn't know what the fuck, And my parents just spent money to have one because everyone else probably had one. But
Right.
and my ADHD would not allow me to sit through 20 minutes of fax machine sounds trying to connect to AOL just to maybe
the whole dial up.
maybe in 5 days get an downloaded piece of side boob or something. So I just didn't even waste my fucking time. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty good, decent like jumping off point for us is technology. Like millennials and Gen Z and Gen Alpha now, right? Like the amount of technology they have is ridiculous compared to what we had. Like computers just started to be a thing in our generation.
Yeah.
I can remember one of our first computers ran off a tape cassette drive that hooked up to the TV.
Holy smokes, for real?
Yeah.
Wow.
Running BASIC and ASCII. So you could change the color on your TV screen and type stuff.
Wow. Huh.
But like you said, Gateway, right? That was a big company that I think got bought by HP eventually. But even Hewlett Packard, right? Coming into making computers,
right,
making printers at home. I think probably quite a few people have HP printers, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But God, it's kind of like, I'm not even offended by that, other generations that are talking shit. I mean, it really doesn't bother me. I mean, as a Gen Xer myself, I mean, I'm over 12,500 followers every day on TikTok. People they want to hear what we have to say. They like what we're giving them. People are visiting and circulating the podcast. So, I mean, I'm not offended by it. I think we're showing them that they're actually wrong. I think maybe in the beginning, the technology was a little bit sour. And then, of course, Mark Zuckerberg and guys like that, threw it over the top. And, and then Elon Musk comes in and does his, he was a part of that. I can't remember what company he owned, but he was kind of a Palo Alto sort of dude, wasn't he?
Yeah, PayPal.
Okay, he's the PayPal guy or whatever. So I mean, he's like in that, like in the beginning on the ground floor with the Napster, Facebook dudes, and all that shit. So okay, but now that I've said his name, okay,
it's
coming.
I think, right?
It's coming. It's coming.
Next episode.
Like, the Hulk, you don't want to see me when I'm angry. And my skin is turning green just even talking about him. Because I think Elon Musk, as part of Gen X Latchkey Kids episode 5 here, I have to talk about him. I have to, because he is one of the guys giving us this black eye. I mean, he's a union buster. He and I hate the way that he fucking does it, right? It's the way that he does it. He's like, I'm exploiting these outside norms, this like mysterious, like just Julian Assange way of fucking everybody and taking their jobs. It's creepy to me, man, and it's counterproductive.
Well, I think it's just the way he thinks, right? Like, honestly, I think he's probably on the autism scale a little bit, right? Just how he operates. And I think he has a vision of where he wants humanity to go. And since he has the money, he's going to try and make it go that way.
Right. I mean, this guy.
For good or bad, right? Like, it's his idea and what he wants to do. Like, the whole crap with Twitter, right? And taking that over and turning it into X, right? Was supposedly for freedom of speech, but it turns out it was because they were blocking his tweets.
Right.
And like, he's shown multiple times that it wasn't about that. It's all about him.
Right.
So
Yeah, he's definitely
His
a
ego
selfish
is
individual,
huge.
a charismatic,
Well, it's ego,
selfish.
right?
Yeah, right. Egotistical prick. And now he's got his own platform, and everybody's my friends. He thinks, but anyway,
Or if they're
more
not, he can block them.
right. Yeah,
Or make the algorithm not show their content over his.
Right. Yeah, it's not a fair fight for sure. So I will go further into Elon Musk on episode 6. Is AI taking our jobs? And we will discuss his desire for autonomy. And I mean, this guy, he is he one of those guys that wants to run a $1 billion organization all by himself, like with no employees, like just like all AI and computers and stuff? Is he one of those crackpots?
Oh, I think he's talked about it multiple times, but I don't think he can do it.
Well,
so
yeah, we'll get into what product can you sell if the world isn't working. I don't understand. We'll get into that next episode, but I guess I'll complete my daily Elon Musk rant. Elon Musk, you're a bitch. GenX Ian on Common X with Jared and Ian is saying, not Jared. Jared's not saying it. Ian,
come on our show,
right?
Come on
our show. Yeah, defend yourself, sir. Defend yourself in this battle.
Put up your dukes.
Because I will just keep talking shit. I fucking hate you, man. You're a bitch. So, I think Gen X has caught on to technology. We weren't at the forefront. Yeah, we sat around, dude, jerked off on the couch a little bit to MTV and, played phone tag with our girlfriends and, tried to catch the answer machine when we could. Some of us used a rotary phone still. Not confirming or denying that myself. But, yeah. So, but I think we understand where the rebellious nature comes from. And I think that explains my attitude towards guys like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, who doesn't want to pay taxes and shit like that. I mean, I think it makes our generation look bad. And so when we're being called, the silent, or not, not the silent, the forgotten generation that sat on their ass and let everything happen during political dismay and economic downturns, this is our way of standing up. The boomers were there to do it for us. I mean, I've got to give it up. The boomers were there to do it for us in the beginning. And I think that's what kind of allowed us to, or gave us, that mindset to where I'm going to sit on my ass because the boomers are in so much goddamn control right now. I can't even freaking do anything about it. So why bother?
Right. Again, let's, I think we've mentioned that quite a few times, and especially on our first episode, we're talking about boomers.
Foxhole leadership. Yeah.
They just don't let go. I don't get it. Right. It's like, when are you going to retire?
I know, right? It's our turn.
Go away.
Pass the torch.
Go away.
Generations before you retired at 50 or 60. What are you doing at 83 years old, dude? Right. What are you doing? I mean, Mick Jagger gets a pass, though. I mean, if you're Mick Jagger, you're Mick Jagger. And you do that shit as long as you can, for sure.
Right.
I mean,
yeah. What's the median age of Congress?
Oh, that's a good one. Let's see what that is. I mean,
look it up.
I mean, we're 58. Getting into 58. No. That's not too bad. It's got to be worse than that.
58-year-olds for senators and 64-year-olds for House. So yeah, wow. Time to bow out.
Yeah, I think it's 64 if you're a multimillionaire. I think you squeezed.
Go get your cushy jobs that you took all the money from the corporations so you could pass the laws that they wanted. So, go be your consultants, you greedy bastards. Yeah. And thanks for ruining our country.
And don't forget that it is all about the nookie. It is. How much nookie are you going to get, at that age, period. But, I mean, you got a better chance on the beach.
Not as much as they did when Epstein was around.
Oh, shit!
Oh,
Jared. Wow, I was feeling bad about my immoral distaste for Elon Musk, but my friend, you just fucking
Go for the throat.
Kick to the dick right there. We are not claiming him in our generation as well, just so everybody knows. Epstein is on a fucking shelf by himself.
He's a one-off.
He is.
Unfortunately, he's not, though. Like, I think there was a pretty big group that was supporting him. So,
right, and
unfortunately,
there may or may not be someone who is supporting him that is really in the limelight right now. And Lord, do I dare say his name? So I will not.
It rhymes with dump.
Truck, right? Yeah, or and Mr. P. Diddy found himself. Holy shit! I mean, I don't know where that whole thing's going. So, but that's not what we are not claiming these individuals in our generation. You have hereby been banned by the X.
Yeah,
you're kicked out. You're out of the club. Go sit in the corner. Fucking done. Like no Jeffrey Epstein's.
right.
None of those dudes.
Back to the fence with you.
Back to the fucking fence, man. So, do you think there are any other reasons that may have caused us to have such an attitude towards authority? Is there anything that comes to you in particular in mind from your childhood, Jared?
Well, I think, growing up, it was children were, you had to be like well behaved, right?
Oh,
Seen,
yeah,
but not heard.
Yeah, I heard that shit a bunch of times.
I got that a bunch too, right? Especially, growing up very religious. It was the, put on this show of reverent children, right?
Reverent children.
And don't speak out unless you're going to say the party line. But yeah, I think a lot of it comes from that, how we were raised as kids. Again, don't make waves. Keep your head down. You're there to be seen, not heard, right? Don't voice your opinions.
What was it like? Did your family ever go out to like breakfast or dinner or anything?
Yeah.
What was that like? Was there certain rules?
Oh, yeah. Definitely, manners, right? No elbows on the table.
Yeah.
Eat, properly. Don't be loud. Don't talk loud. Don't cause a scene. That was the biggest thing. Like, don't embarrass us.
Well, and as a father of 5, I can understand it, dude. I felt it. I've been to the restaurant when my kids were younger. They're better now, but
right.
I remember going to like Applebee's and like there's a few of them being shits, dude. And I was like,
yeah,
it resonated to me. I was like, man, now I might understand, And then after paying the bill when you got 5 kids and you're out there with your wife, and like it's like I understand why I was only allowed to have one soda. I understand why I needed to take my hat off the table. I understand that it was rude to have my elbows on the table. And my parents would actually once or twice, and I think it was by accident. I was probably just too tired or whatever. But my parents would take me to dinner, and every now and then someone would come by and say, "You have such a well-behaved kid." It was because I didn't say shit. I didn't say shit at all because I knew that I was going to get fucking,
Right. You get in trouble when you get home.
My parents are listeners. I'm not going to say, I'd get like, but I knew better. I wasn't going to rock the boat, dude. I knew it was trouble. Like you don't embarrass your parents in public. I mean, you don't do that. And I think once the first compliment is received, then that sets the bar for, okay, the next time we go out, this is like, I want to hear this compliment from somebody else. What's wrong with you?
Right.
Because that made them feel good, like, hey, we're doing our jobs. We're raising them good. In a shitty time, for sure. Did you have any?
Yeah, but I mean, if you think about like some of the stuff they told us, right? Respect your elders.
Right.
Right?
That's satisfying there.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, it's kind of driving that command and control leadership and reinforcement of don't be anti-establishment, and I think that's why our generation was more anti-establishment because
we were
it was kind of forced down us, right? Like growing up. Right. Here's the narrow, straight path, right? This is what you got to be. This is who you got to be to the world so you don't embarrass us or anything like that. But at the same time, just do what you're told. Right? So, again, that command and control leadership has lasted so long because we were doing what we were told. So we didn't try to, not very many people went into leadership roles, right? And if they did, they just continued the same crappy leadership style they learned from the boomers, right? That command and control leadership style.
And I mean, it did kind of work because, I remember.
Did it though?
I mean, it kind of did it worked for me in the beginning. My dad was a department head, or director or something. He was, he worked for the government. And I think in the beginning, he scared the shit out of people. I mean, he was a barrel chested guy and he didn't take anybody's shit, And I think for the most part, his appearance or his demeanor, was productive at one point. Later, when I grew up and entered the workforce, I asked him, I was like, how did you become a supervisor? And he just gave me the most basic, genuine answer a guy can hear from his father is that's the natural swing of things. You enter the workforce, you find what you're going to do for a living and you perfect your craft. You get good at it. And the natural progression, the natural swing of things is, I mean, that's where you end up at. And I found that to be so real. I found that to be so genuine and real and authentic. The best possible answer that you could. I mean, that's real fatherly advice. It's legit.
Yeah.
It's like,
I don't think that applies anymore though.
Yeah, it doesn't. But that got me, I entered the workforce and I thought, well, shit. And I became a manager. I was like, well, this is the natural swing of things because that's what my dad taught me. But, but probably, I don't know, a decade of management experience my entire adult career, right? Which isn't saying a lot because, I mean, I've been in the workforce for 20 plus years now, as a Gen Xer. But I did notice that there came a point where that shit wasn't going to fly anymore. That leadership style of, okay, this guy can lose his shit. I could fuck with this guy. He could lose his shit. And it might be fun for a little while, but I mean, it's not worth it. And then it became about feelings. We are the FAFO generation, the fuck your feelings generation. But the generations, coming up behind us, have feelings. And that I learned that a new generation had entered the workforce because I had to change the way that I said things, to be productive because the old way it wasn't going to work. And that's where we're at now. Yeah, for sure. On that note,
go ahead.
On that note, Jared is a published author. He's written the book "Agile is Not Dead, Your Leaders Are." Is that correct?
Agile isn't broken. Your
Agile isn't broken, right? I think your leaders are dead, but Agile isn't broken. Your leaders are, and you should pick that up.
It kind of talks about an agile way of working, right? But the overall theme is the command and control leadership style just doesn't work anymore, and technology has made that happen because now you can work from anywhere. When we were growing up and getting into the workforce, you had to be there, right? Like you couldn't work from home. There was no possibility to do that.
Right.
But now you can work from anywhere for any company in the entire world.
Right.
As long as you got an internet connection, right? And a video camera and a microphone and some headphones, you can work from anywhere. But command and control leaders can't hack that. So you see these guys, these CEOs from these big corporations, and the names, demanding people go back to work, so I can crack the whip. And then they're claiming all this BS about, well, we're not as productive and we're not as forefront like the Google CEO talking about, we went to going and caring about feelings instead of creating a product that everybody wants. I'm like,
Right.
You could have done both. It was your shitty leadership style that made it so that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and again, I really hate leaders that blame everybody else under them for things not working, because guess what? You're the leader. If it doesn't work, it's your fault. Always,
Right.
ultimately, it's your fault. Right? So if you're standoffish and you approach things from, I'm just going to tell you what to do, you go do it, and then you just leave it, then of course things going to go to shit.
Yeah.
Right? So
I'm going to kill it right here, buddy, so we don't lose all this. So, Jared, I've had some serious thoughts and success based on transparency. Are we the transparent generation, in your opinion?
Well, I think we're trying to be, right? Like, especially as we're getting into like leadership roles, right? We're known for our direct, no nonsense leadership style. Like, I can tell you when I was leading teams, I'm going to tell you exactly how it is, right? And I'm going to be transparent to you about what the expectations are, and I honestly expect you to be transparent back to me. Like, there needs to be that transparency between everybody, and then there needs to be accountability. So
that need, where do you think that need of honesty comes from? Like, where do we get that? Because I feel strongly in that too. If this group says, hey, we're doing this because of this, and this group asks me, why are you doing this way? I'm going to say, well, because that's what we came up with this other group. I mean, there's no layers of bullshit anymore. Like, we're eliminating the layers of bullshit. Here's the honest reason. You asked me a question, I'm giving you a direct answer, and I'm not going to sugarcoat that or hide that fact from you. I mean, we drank from the fucking garden hose because our parents didn't want to wash the goddamn million water cups laying on the goddamn counter. You know,
or
right?
You hadn't done it because that was your chores,
right?
But
it's an easy source of water.
Yeah, I think, the other thing is, like, I think we make pretty good mentors. Like, we want to pass down our knowledge to the younger generations so they can learn from our mistakes, right? And learn from the mistakes that we've learned from the boomer generation or other generations that came before us, so we don't repeat them. But I don't know, as a society, we need to shift out of this whole society of me's that we've become and get back to that society of we.
That's so interesting.
And just taking care.
That's so interesting that you say that, because I'm reminded of the term me generation. I mean, I think it was popularized by Tom Wolfe in a 1976 article, The Me Decade, it was entitled. And the article reveals that it's kind of, I mean, he argued self-obsession, hedonism, materialism, characteristics of the 1970s and 80s.
Yeah,
and he labels and oversimplifies our Gen X, in a complex way. But I don't feel that. I think that's entirely bullshit.
I do too, because like when that came out, 1976.
I mean, fucking hedonism. So, like, are you for real?
Right, like the oldest Gen Xer was 16 at that time. So how can you blame it or call it an entire generation and a generation of me when the oldest one currently alive is 16 years old?
Yeah, we weren't even a fucking generation yet. I mean, we're a bunch of virgins.
Are you sure you're not talking about the boomers, man?
I think that he's got
especially when it came to hedonism.
Yeah, where the fuck did that come? Yeah, hedonism.
Right, that's the hippie revolution right there. That's not us.
Yeah,
that was boomers.
How dare you, Tom Wolfe, label our generation as that? I mean, dude, we were young and hadn't even come into our own yet, but these guys were, growing corn in a field, protesting Vietnam, which all came of good things eventually.
Yeah, and I think,
and they are the protest generation for sure. I mean, yeah,
right.
I love it. I mean, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, if you look though, if you talk about the me generation, that's the millennials, man. Like they've become the me generation. And
It's
again,
about
like you said, we're
me.
that forgotten generation because we just sat back and let things happen. And so I think that's how we've become a society of me's.
I was far too lazy to partake in hedonism. I don't even think that I know what the fuck that is.
Oh, we weren't old enough. Well, I wasn't. Like, let's see. I was born in 75, so
Right.
no drug induced orgies for me at age 3
Right. I was
that I'm aware of.
I was 0 in 1976, so I'm pretty sure that I
Right.
wasn't
Yeah, I was 1.
indulging in hedonism, pre-womb. But that's interesting to hear these. But it's interesting to look at the outlook of what people recount of our generation and what we've done so far. But I think that you know, um, we survived tumultuous times, right? And I'm not saying that the other generations didn't, but
Yeah,
we navigated tumultuous times, you know, and I think that we continue to influence contemporary culture and society. I think our
right.
perspective is unique. I think we have an individuality, a nonconformity, uh,
Well,
creative
and
expression.
you got to realize the time we grew up in too, right? Like the Iron
Right.
Curtain was still there. The
Yeah.
threat of nukes, right? The whole duck and cover thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Exactly.
there's still this Russia versus the U.S. mentality, and that started to decay during our generation too, right? The whole
Right.
bring down the wall, you know,
All right.
Gorbachev bringing down the wall in Berlin, that happened during our generation. So I think we did some pretty great things to kind of start uniting humanity, but then it just went completely off the rails. And now with social algorithms on these social media platforms and even the news agencies, if you really want to call them news, because it's more just like infotainment
Right.
to get people to watch stuff. But I can remember growing up with Tom Brokaw and those guys,
Yeah.
actual news reporters that actually reported news,
Real shit. Dan
real
Rather.
news,
Yeah.
right? Dan Rather, and even Connie Chung, right? She was the
Yep.
same, but it starts after or during our generation, a little bit after. It took a turn for honestly the weird. Like the way our
Yeah.
social media and news is now, it's just, I don't know, it's just all about getting like who can get the most clicks,
It's
right?
all clickbait. Yeah.
Again, it's right, it's all about me again. It's going back to
Mm.
just me. And
But yeah,
I blame social media for that, honestly.
I do too. And, but it's got to come to a head at some point because it is it's the most efficient way to get the news, though. It's kind of the shitty part of it is, um, you look at our climate now, like you said, work life balance, the jobs that we work now. And I mean, a lot of us, like me, I can't sit down and watch the news at 6 o'clock every day, Monday through
Right.
Friday, to get the message. If it comes through on the banner of my iPhone, then fuck. I mean, that's as
Yeah.
efficient as it gets.
Yeah, but I think the problem with that is depending on how you search for things and what articles you read and how your online profile is, that's the news you're going to see. And I think a
Right.
lot of
It's going to
people just
cater to the
accept that as
algorithm.
the truth,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or the gospel, and they shouldn't. They should be going out and looking at the other side or looking at the center, right? Like if you're a lefty and you have just been getting news from, support Kamala, everything's awesome on the left, then you're just going to continue to get that kind of information spoon fed to you. And same thing with the righties, right? Like if you're extreme on the right, everything's Trump. Um, the liberals all want to kill babies, right, for abortion.
I
Shouldn't
believe
be up to a
I
woman.
covered this because I am the author of Crips
Right.
versus Bloods, Democrats versus Republicans.
Right.
But you were right. Like, you are right. That's what it is. And I don't want to get back into the fancy slogans and what fucking t-shirt you're gonna wear though.
Yeah.
But I see a problem there. Maybe our generation should be the one that reels people back in. Like, and I'll just go ahead and say it. I'm not saying this to piss people off, and I'm not saying this to gain popularity. I'm saying this because it's true. You look at the left, right? And I'm going to do what I swore I would never do, and what I hate to do is talk about politics because I absolutely fucking hate it. I don't think the government has any reason to be in my business. I don't need the government. I've never needed government to, hold my hand or I've never needed them to save me. So I look at the left, okay, there's some good shit and there's some bad shit. I look at the right, there's some good shit, there's some bad shit. Well, with this, Crips versus Bloods, Democrats versus Republicans, or Republicans versus Democrats, however you want to fucking say it, it doesn't matter. Whichever side I pick, I've got to take the good with the bad. So when I take all of the good, that's cool. It's good for me, right? Yay for me. I'm getting what I want. Okay, I have certain beliefs. But when it comes to the bad, I don't take the bad. When you're looking at politics and you're looking at the left and the right, and you say, okay, I'm gonna wear the red t-shirt or I'm gonna wear the blue t-shirt, and it comes to take the bad, you don't take the bad. You justify the fucking bad. You justify the bad in your fucking head to say, I am justified by wearing this fucking t-shirt and showing up to this rally because of this. And it's a fucking lie. The questions are formed in the way of a lie. The answer is formed, crafted in the way of a lie. And I don't like that.
Yeah.
So for me, I can't be left. I can't be right because I have to fucking wear that t-shirt. Now, I'm not going to wear that t-shirt because the biggest group, the most popular group, is wearing that t-shirt either. That's just me.
Right.
And holy shit, I just lost my top. Finally, on Common X with Jared and Ian. Ian has lost his shit. I found myself pissed off, Jared, for the first time.
I think the problem is we have a two-party system in this country, which is ridiculous. Right? It's either Democrat or Republican or nothing, which is not really the case. I think there's a lot of people in this country that are more center, like you and I are, right? Like that common sense middle ground approach.
Why can't I be pro-gun and believe in abortion rights?
You can.
But I can't if I'm wearing a blue or a red t-shirt.
According to our two parties, you can't.
What t-shirt do I get to wear? You
got to wear the gray t-shirt.
I'm wearing the GenX t-shirt, dude. My friend.
The gray GenX t-shirt.
Right.
Not Republican. Not
I
Democrat.
remember saying when I was a child, and it's like there's no I mean, it's black and white. It's fucking black and white, man. There's what's right and there's what's wrong. It's black and white. You ever heard that?
Yeah.
Is that true today?
No. I think there's still too much gray area.
So what the fuck happened? Because it used to be. It used to be that way. And I think freaking lawyers and I think, a lot of well-educated people and corporate money.
Honestly, I think capitalism is to blame.
Sure. It's all about the mighty dollar, right?
Right. It's all about money. And that's all corporations give a shit about. They don't care about humans. They don't care about people. All they care about is money. That's it.
I wonder how mighty the dollar is when it's not mighty anymore, though.
Well, we're getting there. Our economy is horrible.
I think we're racing everybody to the bottom.
I just read another report that some of the big tech companies are laying off another 26,000 people. Like, where are those people going to go? The market's already saturated, especially in the tech sector. Like, I can't find a job to save my life back in the tech industry. So
sure,
I've applied for 180 different jobs. Didn't even get a call back.
For tech related.
I went through the AI, I paid for the AI scanning of my resume to make sure it got past the AI bots, right? Filled it all out. Perfect resume. Sent it in. Nothing. Not even a thanks for applying at most of them.
You know, and I kind of find this
just weird.
I find this kind of interesting, though. You know, since we're cutting through the bullshit, right? We're saying, all right, let's get rid of this extreme. Let's get rid of this extreme. Let's come back into the middle, right? Common X. Let's have common sense. I actually kind of nutted up, and on my LinkedIn, even though I have my job, right, I added Common X podcast with Jared and Ian onto my LinkedIn. And you know what I discovered? Yeah. My email is now flooded with podcaster positions, dude.
Right.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Because, I mean, we're just two dudes hanging out, talking about, you know, our lives and what we grew up through and what our opinions are of what's going on now and trying to fix that. But that is a job itself now. It's crazy.
Yeah. And I think influencer, right? That's sure. The role basically of podcaster. Right. And so corporations have now seen that typical advertising on TV or radio campaigns don't work that much anymore. So let's go pay these people that have millions of followers to endorse this product or say this or do this, right? That supports what we are selling or what we're trying to do. And that's how they advertise now, is through influencers. So
yeah, those influencers have as much people
that do that.
Yeah, they have as much monthly subscriptions or more than the local cable company anymore. You're right.
Right.
We've expanded our world to be like, you do what the fuck you want. And I think that's cool. I think that's cool. But you also brought down the downside of how, like, your news is bullshit. You know? Being influenced by a podcaster like ourselves. I mean, you're in your bedroom, I'm in my shop, and we're just saying whatever. But we are out to the world now. Like, we'll launch this episode, and who knows? 10 people watch it, 1 million people watch it. Who knows? But it's out there. It's available.
Right.
It's on every fucking platform. So someone can choose to say, well, you know what? I like what Jared and Ian are saying, so that is my news now. Absolutely. And of course, corporate money. I wouldn't, unless you hate Elon Musk or a huge proponent of
I'd say definitely support, right? Definitely support and watch us, but don't rely on us for your news.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what I've been trying to say, right? Like, research both sides.
Absolutely.
There's a middle common ground we can get to.
Yeah. And
polarizing things is just making worse.
Exactly. And I want to comment again and accent what you said. I mean, shit, man. It's a two-party system where you've got to comply with these rules over here, or this other side where you got to comply with all these rules over here. You're not going to get there, because you have to sacrifice your beliefs for the things that you don't want as well. That's what comes along with
again, it's a system run by corruption and greed. So, like, you know, Monsanto can pay all these guys that are on the USDA to go pass these laws, right? Because, again, lobbyists write our bills for our country. Senators don't do that anymore, or House reps or anybody like that. That's what their job actually was, but it's become a popularity contest, and which politician can I pay the most to get what I want passed to make me more money,
right,
as a corporation, right? Because we ruled corporations are people. If you do a personality profile of a corporation, they are textbook psychopaths. Textbook.
Okay.
So they don't, like I said, they don't give a shit about people. All they care about is money. That's it.
Money.
That's the whole reason for its existence, is to continue itself through that monetary cycle.
Sure.
And that's why everything is going down the toilet, because that kind of a system can only work for so long.
Yeah.
And then it just doesn't. So
maybe
we need to change to a better system.
We might have capped out. I mean, the system's pretty damn old, you know?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of better other alternatives, right? Like a resource-based economy. And these are some of the things I want to talk about on our next episode about AI, because the advance of AI and what it's doing to the job market right now, we're gonna have to switch to some kind of system where there's like a universal basic income for everybody in the United States. And who's going to pay for that? It's got to be the corporations that are making all this money.
The government can't do it.
There's no reason the CEO needs to make $17 million a year. Like, that's utterly ridiculous to me. I'm like,
Sure.
for what? So they can have a helicopter and a Learjet and a 250-foot yacht, or 500-foot yacht.
Did you hear that, Elon?
Right? Like, as
fucking coming for you, buddy.
A gigantic house, things like that you can't even live in all the rooms.
Right.
Like, we need to get back to that. What is common sense? Like, having all those things, while it could be fun, I guess, to have a helicopter and be able to
it's all
fly out
bullshit.
into your backyard to somewhere, right?
It's all bullshit.
I think they've corrupted what the American dream is. So the American dream has become that you need to be this ultra rich billionaire, and whatever you need to do to get there, just do it.
I think we're due for
you're rich.
Yeah, we're due for a Fight Club line. We're the all singing, all dancing crap of the world, something to that extent. I mean,
right. So again, it's become such a one-sided world that unemployment's through the roof. Right. The official numbers, they're never going to tell you because they don't want to freak everybody out. But once you're off unemployment, if you still don't have a job, you're no longer considered unemployed. You're not the statistic anymore. So when they talk about the unemployment rate, that's only the people that are currently on unemployment. Or the far less reported is the underemployed. Right? Like, could I go get a job at McDonald's? Sure. Do I want a job at McDonald's? Not really. Is that going to support my family? No. Is that going to play to what my strengths are as a leader? Probably not. It may be if I'm a shift manager. So I can tell the workers, hey, here's how you can, be a leader. Work your way up in the McDonald's system or Burger King or fast food industry.
Right.
For what? Right? Again, it's driving. I think we're racing each other to the bottom.
Absolutely. Well, guys, in conclusion, sorry, Jared, go ahead.
Oh, I said, and it's going to come to a head pretty soon. I think this election cycle is going to show us.
And if it doesn't, there's always the next one, the one after that. I mean, where the hell are we going to go? So in conclusion, I would say that in response, I'm gonna try to speak on behalf of an entire generation. I think that's very difficult to do, but it's personal. I take Gen X personally. Do you, Jared? I mean, I think. Yeah. I mean, we live it. It is what it is. We are born into it. We don't hate everybody that's not. It's not like one of those things. But although our generation is not we're not the most dominant force in popular culture for sure. We've lost that. But I think we still can influence various aspects of people's lives. We're finally standing up. I think we helped create the digital landscape a little bit. We've consumed information and we connect, right? We're part of that. We started connecting with people online. And definitely. There's a lot of entrepreneurs and artists and thought leaders and think tanks and whatever you want to call them among us that, continue to make significant contributions to this world. And if I were allowed to speak for our generation, I think that that's how I would say it. I mean, it's really simple. We're not haters. We're not saying our generation is better. But look at what the fuck we've contributed, and we continue to contribute, and we care. That's that transparency again, coming out. Any final
and I think
thoughts?
the other thing, for me, it's like, look at how we grew up, right? Like when we were playing out in the hills with our GI Joes and other friends, like I didn't, I didn't care what race you were. I didn't care if you were a black kid or a Mexican or anything else. We were just having fun. We were all getting along.
Same here.
Right? And we, as we grew up, we were told, you have to believe this way, or, this race isn't as good as this race, or if you're not this religion, you're going to hell, right? Things like that. And it's the extremes that are dividing us. And we need to get back, again, like I said, to that common sense middle approach. Because if we don't, we're screwed. We're doomed. Like, humanity's done. Like, if we don't fix stuff here pretty soon, the downward spiral is going to, continue to go further. AI is going to see us all as pieces of crap and get rid of us all. Or, it's going to become the Matrix and we'll just turn into batteries for the machines.
Yeah. A slave. All right. That's all the time we got today, guys. Thank you for listening to Common X with Jared and Ian, available on all platforms. Choose your poison. Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever. We're there for you. We love you. And we will see you on episode 6. Is AI taking your jobs?
Peace out, everybody. Love you.
Later. Love you guys. Oh.